Well, as states slowly begin to reopen, so does the world of sports. So to break it all down for us, we want to bring in JB. JB, you are at your home in Maryland, but you are joining us for Tuesday Morning Quarterback. How's things going down there in Maryland?
They're going well, and sadly, I don't have my grandkids here with me, Anne-Marie, because they normally kind of mop up this little teeny-weeny afro, and I can't get this little piece back in place, so bear with me through the broadcast today. But it's all good. Thank you for asking.
You got us, though, JB. You got us.
Still looking good. Still looking good.
Look here, you guys just make sure that the rug stays even and doesn't slide, okay?
You got it. You got it. So listen, JB, I want to talk about what's happening in the world of sports, but also we have sort of a sad note to kind of tell people about. NFL legend Don Shula, a legendary head coach for the Miami Dolphins, he passed away. He was 90. This is not coronavirus related, though.
No, it wasn't. And Anne-Marie and Vlad, he was, if you will, the gold standard of the NFL as far as coaches are concerned. Not only because he was the winningest coach ever, the only perfect season in NFL history, going 17-0 in 1972, but he was a class act. Just a sensational man, won a couple of Super Bowls. But I think the personal stories really describe him better. Most call him a man of character and excellence and integrity. I think about my colleague Dan Marino, the Hall of Fame quarterback, who played for him. And when I talked with Dan yesterday, the characterization was what everyone says. He was tough, but he was fair. He was exceedingly well prepared. And he also stressed the importance of players being involved and engaged in the community. And I saw that with Dan Marino because he was always fawned over wherever we went, but he had time for everybody. You and Vlad will love this story. He also was one step ahead of the players. On the night before the game, of course, there was a curfew in the hotel where they were all to be in bed, say by 11 o'clock. But what Don Shula did was to give a football to the front desk operators and said any players coming in after 11, have them autograph the football, which they did. The next day in the locker room before the game, he will look at the football and he will call out the names of the players who violated curfew and tell them they were missing the first quarter for being disobedient. So he was very sharp as well.
You know, JB, I know we got a lot of stuff to hit today, but just paying my respects to Coach Shula as well, because when I was a kid growing up, you know, you had the image of Tom Landry at the Dallas Cowboys, and there were some people who were enamored with the imagery. He always wore the suit. He always had the fedora on. But I always looked at Don Shula. I was growing up in South Florida at the time, so, of course, Don Shula loomed large over my youthful football attraction. And to me, just his style and the way he interacted with his players, where I always felt Coach Landry was more aloof, Shula seemed to be a player's coach. And so it's really sad to see him go. He's sorely going to be missed, not just for fans of the NFL, but anybody who just loves sports in general.
Vlad, your characterization was just perfect. Nothing to add to what you said so eloquently, other than Tom Landry certainly was revered, a strong man who believed in roles, if you will, but he was beloved as well. Don Shula was the kind of guy, he could be tough, he could be a disciplinarian, but they know he was fair because he modeled what he expected from his players too, Vlad.
All right, JB, so let me ask you, let's stay on the subject of the NFL.
Take it, Vlad.
The magic of TV. There's a delay over our earpieces. So yeah, okay, I'll take it. So the NFL, JB, is poised to release its schedule this week, which is always highly anticipated by fans, especially, you know, with the uncertainty surrounding the coronavirus. So what are you hearing? We're going to have a regular season?
We will have a regular season as it stands right now, unless something unforeseen occurs. Right now, the league is going to release its schedule on Thursday, May 7th, and it is a full 17-game schedule right now. There are contingencies in place, as is the case with every other professional organizations right now. But the plan is to start on time. And if, in fact, it has to be truncated, there are scenarios in place for that. A Super Bowl will be played. the key elements here is that the games that have been played on foreign soil, Mexico and the UK specifically, that will not happen this year at all. I know most coaches are explaining and sharing with us their concerns because training camps right now will not be able to start on time as it stands right now, and their big concern is whether or not the players will be in game shape and also prepared for the game plans to execute. So that will be a yeoman's duty for the coaches to get things ready that quickly as well.
JB, let me ask you about NASCAR, because last time we talked, NASCAR was set to begin races. It was supposed to happen this weekend. That's not happening anymore?
It isn't at the scheduled time that they had anticipated, which was to be this coming week, Anne-Marie. But again, out of an abundance of caution, I know I did talk with Steve Phelps, the president of NASCAR. I talked with Rick Hendrick, one of the Hall of Fame owner of Hendrick Motorsports. And there is an abundance of caution being exercised to make sure that there will not be even the slightest chance, to the best of their ability, that anyone runs a risk in terms of health and safety. So I can only assume, I haven't talked with them to get that definitive answer, but prior to, I know that's what they were scrutinizing closely, and I can only assume that that is the reason why the season is being pushed back right now to restart, because they did run the Daytona 500, their Super Bowl, if you will, back in February, but in terms of restarting the season, we'll just have to await further word from them.
All right. Good stuff, JB. Always great to talk to you, my friend. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
Love your honesty about the delay as well. We're doing the best that we can. Meanwhile, I'll go up here and work on this teeny weeny afro. Thank you very much.
I got one going too, my friend. Got one going too.